Are we
We're
live?
ready to go.
So, why don't we do the minutes first? Anyone have any, comments, concerns? Issues on the minutes? If not, can I get a motion to approve? Second. Yep. All in favor? Aye. Um. So and because we have, outside counsel here, and her time is valuable and we're paying for it, so, I'm gonna suggest that we move to executive session. Um. And the purpose would be to
Seek an opinion, the
seek
opinion of counsel.
opinion of council, Can I get a motion? I'll move. All in favor? Aye.
We're back again.
Can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
Yes.
Second?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We'll let the minutes reflect that no action was taken during executive session. Great, so on to the really exciting stuff.
For page 6, I think.
Thank you.
So didn't we address this at the last board meeting, or am I?
Last board meeting, we addressed the term extensions on people. I don't believe we did the officers at all.
Okay. What do we need from this committee for this? Is there a, just a recommendation?
Yeah, this is just a recommendation of the board. The board will do this at their every annual
Okay.
meeting. They'll elect these officers. So that's the current slate. I don't think it's changed in a bit. So that's the staff push and up to the committee to recommend and figure out.
I think everyone's comfortable with this current slate.
The secretary position, we might want to discuss that.
Yeah.
Full organization with it.
Yeah. All right, so why don't we move on to
I'd like to do this ones. So we're doing our annual review of our conflict of interest disclosures. We have the committee draft memo for your review, as well as you do have a kind of matrix of all of the disclosures made this year for everybody who has submitted their form. I did want to note for the committee that as of the date of this memo, and I think it stands today, that we only have 12 of 14 responded. So we're waiting on 2 of the members for a response to the disclosures. Hopefully we'll have them before the December 16th board meeting.
okay. Yeah, and Karen hasn't historically had any issues, and I don't think both Vita will either.
Yeah, I think we have in here from Maria what they historically had as
Right.
their disclosures. So they haven't been updated, but that's what they had previously.
Got it. And so. I think essentially everything that I'm seeing here, other than me, maybe, is pretty much what we've seen in the past.
Yep.
And as far as I am concerned, if you want me to step out and you want to talk about my conflicts, I'm happy to do that. I don't know that
The last bullet.
I have, just, for purposes of full disclosure, and it's in my form, 142 Green is the old, church, in the south end of Albany. We're, working to redevelop that. I'm involved in that project, and, Livingston, phase 2 is a senior housing development in the city of Albany that I'm working on as well. Neither of which will have any capitalized Albany involvement potentially, but could be in front of the IDA at some point.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. So this report, as everybody here knows, goes every year to the board. It's a formal report. It's part of the records. It's entered into the minutes of that board meeting. So this will go in December board meeting. I guess the one question is, do we do anything related to what you're doing in this report?
Like add it to it.
Like even just a small paragraph at the end?
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah,
Something
So I
that
can-
says, Dr. Damon's been retained to review X
Yeah.
as a result of X. Fees the following.
Yeah.
Whatever. I think that's probably smart, because we're in the middle of it right now and it's timely. And that's part of what you've been doing as a governance committee anyway, so that would be just part of the report. We'll add a couple sentences at the end of this to include what other work has happened here. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that's a really good call.
And so I'm clear, so this is a report that will go to the board
Just
as its next meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, with the new December.
so we do it the Friday before the meeting, so the meeting's
Okay.
December 16th, so
Okay.
whatever that turns out to be.
Confidential board evaluation form. We do.
You also have that in your board materials.
So it looks like we got all 14.
We did. So as you know, this is required through the authority's budget office, or encouraged at least, confidential evaluations. This is the ABO's template for this and a summary document that we will plan to post with our reporting, with the Paris reporting.
Great. It's interesting that the board sets clear and measurable performance goals for the authority that contribute to the accomplishing its mission. We're actually going to be talking about that today, so it may just be the timing of when the form was filled out that we didn't get agreed perfect score.
Yeah, as you've taught, John, this form is kind of hard to somewhat agree, somewhat, there's not a lot of categories here. There's
Yeah.
4. So it's, but this is the form we have to use.
Yep. Anybody have any concerns about what we got in terms of responses?
You know, the board somewhat disagree. Could be very minimal in having to check that box. Because what, as we all know, we can work on staff, or we can work on something for 2 years before it comes to a yes or no fruition. It's hard to,
Or conversely, something extremely important pops up that we didn't anticipate. We didn't have a measurable for it, but nonetheless, we have to engage it.
yeah. The opportunity to research and discuss questions. You know, I feel we do a really good job of getting information out before a board meeting. So that one,
Thank you. It's
I
appreciated.
think we can just reiterate that to the board on that
And John, I think you can.
they have every opportunity to press the pause button and
Exactly. And you can ask, I know you always do each year. I think it's almost incumbent on the people that don't go down the left lane. That's what this committee is for. For people to come in and say, or send an email that says, you know what, I don't feel X.
yeah,
They have a fiduciary duty to pushing this corporation forward. So if they do feel that, I always say that in the meeting, I think you do too, but just bring it on. It's confidential.
Yep.
Anyways,
I think some of this is just like when you take a survey, you
Agreed.
don't want to hit
Yes.
all number 5s,
Yeah.
you can get a couple number 4s.
exactly, John, exactly.
So, you know,
yeah, and I really think I'm somewhat agree for setting clear and measurable performance goals. Literally, it's gonna be in front of them.
It's just timing.
Yeah, the timing is off there.
Yes, sir.
All right, why don't we move on to our performance goals?
Never mind that. Okay, so you have, yeah, as a reminder, in your packet, you have the draft proposed resolution that would go before the board. And as a reminder to the folks that put the somewhat agree, we set these goals at the end of each calendar year for the subsequent year. They've been relatively consistent over the last, 5 or so years, but we did at the governance committee level add in that final bullet point of implement the Liberty Park redevelopment project, including but not limited to. We added that bullet point last year. And so your board memo, your committee memo that you have in the packet does have additional criteria related to that this calendar year. But that's the proposal to do the same bullet points, the same priorities for 2026 as we had with 2025, with any tweaks that come from this committee.
I'm comfortable with the proposals.
Yeah.
So, we'll be recommending that they stay consistent.
This isn't a motion where this is.
No, this is just
Go with them.
for informational purposes.
And I should also note that annually, we're required to address the mission and determine whether we want to approve it or not. So this is validating that the mission stays consistent for 2026 as well.
Mhm.
And then you have in your packet, the extensive memo that also gets, posted and submitted, with Authority's Budget Office related to the performance goals. So you'll see the actual, goals highlighted as bullet points, and then the metrics that we've established related to the goals in italicized font, and then the actual accomplishments, underneath of each of those, for 2025. I do also have, similar to last year, staff did provide this comparison document that, you guys
cool.
wanted to have for background reference as a committee, just to really inform how the numbers stack up related to past years. So you have 2025 highlighted in orange, and then you have last year and the prior year so that you can use that to reference. I would say that the majority of the numbers are fairly consistent. Residential units really follow, one, there's the inclusionary zoning impact that we're experiencing here. But two, the fact that many of the LIHTC deals were approved and closed in 2024. So our numbers are a little down there, but relatively consistent across the board.
I think you made the font way too big.
Yeah.
I probably should use larger paper. I apologize for that. It's your annual eye exam, just so, just so you know.
I brought my readers.
We're gonna have to have readers on the table.
Should have asked Maria to print it large like the other one. I did it a little as well.
I guess my only comment would be on the Liberty Park section. I mean, there's been so much activity related to them, and I don't think it's captured, at least in the chart, form, that perhaps our metrics aren't being captured in the chart.
I would agree that in the memo, I think the Liberty Park work has been better substantiated in the memo.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the two fully line up as good as they should. Just because I feel like a lot of the activity spent related to Liberty Park, it's not necessarily quantitative in part, like, we have to work with our property manager consistently to prevent trespassing in the properties and, lock up the doors and get it reshored up afterwards and things like that. So many of the activities related to Liberty Park include like procuring contractors or getting our contractor out there. So it's like, it's the time void or suck, I guess would be the word, is some of those extraneous activities that aren't quantified by like
Yeah.
moving forward with a redevelopment project yet.
So, maybe we just make sure people read the paragraphs.
Since this will be public, yes, please read the phrasing and make sure that y'all are comfortable with how it is worded related to the activities on site. Words matter, and I want to make sure that the narrative, people are comfortable with.
It's our,
Actually, apart from Liberty Park.
Sure.
Which one of these? Do any of these, especially in the red, speak directly to the inclusionary housing legislation?
I mean, yeah, I would think that the multifamily housing goals section. Those unit counts are directly related to affordable housing.
And it's to Ashley's point about sometimes things being hard to quantify numerically. We spent a lot of time working through the data on inclusionary zoning to put forward a detailed narrative as to the IDA's position as to why it was prohibitive to development. That was significant time.
Yeah, any and all metrics we have or continue to assemble that point to that not working the way it was intended. I always want to see, I think we always want to, it's just more ammunition to have to make the argument.
I mean, one of the issues is gonna be. So market rate versus low income. And that's probably not gonna get captured in the chart. We're still gonna have low income housing developments come through the city. They'll be so heavily subsidized by the state and we'll get units built. But we're not getting the market rate units built. And that maybe we need a metric to capture that, where if we're not getting market rate units built, it's, you know, we're just continuing to sort of perpetuate a low income environment, which is not, you know, we need a mixed income environment in the city to have it be sustainable long term. So, and that's where the inclusionary housing data may be helpful to show. Even if we're getting, 230 units of housing built in 2025, how much of that is market rate, how much of it's pure low income? And
Yeah, we definitely track that. We don't report that in this document. Since I wasn't involved in governance committee in years past, I'm not sure if there was a decision made at that time not to.
I don't think
split
there's
it,
ever been a reason to split it, but I think that
No, maybe.
subset may be important now with the debate over inclusionary housing. And that it doesn't necessarily have to be reflected in the
in the
performance.
memo,
metrics, but yeah, we should definitely see it. I think it's useful.
and we do, so we can provide that in the committee packet moving forward.
It's also, I think that data, the number of low income units being built in the city should also be shown to the common council for purposes of pushing back on the need for inclusionary housing. It's like we're adding to the affordable stock on an annual basis. That's not changing.
Yeah. All you're stopping is the market.
Yeah, the narrative can always be manipulated, but the numbers can't.
Right.
So we always want to surface these numbers.
And without creating the market rate units, you're creating that downward force on the affordable so that like people are competing for the lower priced units that like could afford a higher priced unit, so.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a real struggle.
So I'm gonna suggest maybe we skip to governance committee self-evaluation and then go back to reasonableness of officer compensation, because I think we're gonna go into executive session for that. If that makes sense. And if you guys had a chance to look at the, our self-evaluation,
So that is,
it's pretty, yeah. Pretty quick read. You've met more than 3 times.
What was that?
he says he feels like we met more than 3 times. It's
Cause so much gets done each time.
Yeah, because it's so exhausting. We really run you through the ringer.
I remember meetings by the food we serve.
Well, many of you are on more than one committee board, so you're here in this building quite frequently.
You are.
So it's not.
John and I are waiting for the steak and lobster.
Right.
Right.
Stepping up.
We're not that type of a.
Yeah, you want me to say that again? Do I need to,
Vacation crab at best.
do I need to say the name louder?
We like to stay in operation. No steak and lobster.
So if you guys are comfortable, we do have to review that. We're good. So, I think at this point, I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session to, review reasonableness of, officer compensation.
Yeah, we've discussed the film history of certain individuals, absolutely.
Yeah, perfect.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
We're not.
Can I get a motion to come out of the executive session?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let the minutes reflect no action was taken. All right, and with no other business on the docket, can get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.